VJ, when I graduated from college, I saw my friends, we went to different companies. I worked at a radio station. My good friend went to Microsoft, got a nice little signing bonus coming out of there. I had some other friends that did a whole bunch of other different things, right?
Nice.
We all didn't go work at the same company. But if you play defense for Georgia, guess what?
Yeah.
The Philadephia Eagles are interested in you.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
And I'm not sure if it's it's just if it's a shrewd idea. I'll put it like this: it's either going to work out great or work out terribly. But on its face, trying to draft every single person from the best defense in college football for the last 2 years seems like a great idea.
Yeah, it seems like a great idea, but I will tell you, what this reminds me of? I don't know if you're old enough to remember this. You guys remember when Steve Spurrier got hired by the Washington, then Redskins at that time, and started drafting Florida Gator players, Jaquez Green, Riddell Anthony, even Danny Warfel he went after. Danny Warfel was with the Saints, but he went after him too.
A more recent example, Matt Rule signed like every single player from Temple.
Yeah, well, that's different because the Temple's,
But to your point, guys going with their
Georgia won
with.
national championship. Florida at that time had won 2 national championships for Steve Spurrier. But this is what this reminds me of. But I actually really do like this because what Philly is doing is they're saying we got it, we got offense, and we're they got Montgomery this off. Montgomery went to Detroit. We need running back help, and they got running back help, and they got receivers. They got AJ Brown in the trade, and they're like, we're just gonna load up on defense, and we're gonna draft guys that people say played on probably, if not the best ever, one of the top 2 or 3 best ever college defenses of all time. Sidebar, hey, Stephanie, ready? I like this, man, because these are all studs. None of these kids got question marks. When you look at the guys that they're drafting and loading up on defense, and what were people saying in the offseason? Well, the Eagles are going to lose a lot of guys on defense, and they're going to have to load up, and I don't think they'll be able to come back. They got a lot of things they got to fill. A lot of guys are going to leave. Remember, Darius, big play, Slay was supposed to be gone, right? Slay was out of there. He decides to stay. And then you add 4 from the front 7 of that defense from 2 years ago, and Ringo in the DB area. Bro, I'm feeling and I'm loving this because I believe all these guys can play. I believe all these guys will be good NFL players. And good luck, even this year, probably more likely next year. Ladies and gentlemen, where I'm from, the NFC East, I grew up seeing that division all my life. My mother, diehard Giant fan. Good luck moving the football against the Philadephia Eagles over the next few years. They basically got the best guy in the draft this year in Jalen Carter, which a lot of people said and thought, GMs and analysts and mock draft guys. Yeah, exactly. And then last year was the big one, Nakobe Dean, who fell to like 83rd or 84th. It's just a stud, and he's going to be plugged in. Now, he didn't get the playing time as a rookie, but he learned. This is the year that you get in. Everybody doesn't get drafted and get right in. Sometimes you got to sit and learn. You got to wait your turn.
To that point, not only, where was Nakobe Dean at his best when those 2 big defensive tackles were eating up the offense, when they were eating up the center and the guard, and then Nakobe Dean could move all around the formation.
And then you add Nolan Smith.
And so then
you add Nolan Smith to the rush. Wow.
It worked out there. Let's try to get here.
Opposite of Hassan Reddick. And this was what was so cool about the Nolan Smith draft pick. Most people that I saw, plus especially the professionals that really get paid to do mock drafts, I don't get paid for a mock draft. The guys that get paid to mock draft, his comparable was Hassan Reddick. Like, you got to be kidding me. So he fits right. They already know what to do with him. They already got him. He's on the other end. He's a Pro Bowl. He's all pro on the other side. They already got him. So I like this, man. It's funny to me. Somebody tweeted today with the blank pick, the Philadelphia Eagles have drafted Kirby Smart, as assistant head coach, because that just seems to be. But why wouldn't you go get these guys?
The players are the ones that go, because he's there at every green room.
Yeah. We talked about that during him and Saban, man. Whew.
First of all, Saban, clean in the salmon.
I love the salmon jacket. Are you kidding me? The salmon?
Very clean.
I don't know if I can. I don't have a salmon jacket, but every time I see somebody with one, it's always done well. I've never looked and go, he should have done this or done that or done that with that. I always see a man in a salmon joint, and I'd be like, okay, bro, I ain't mad at you with that salmon. I don't have anything pink or salmon in my closet, so I haven't gone to that side yet. I'm more of a navy smoke gray guy as far as jackets and dress goes. But you're right, Saban. Clean, no tie, white shirt, crispy white shirt too. It's probably one of them $200 designer dress white shirts. I get mine from Burlington, so my joints be like $14.99. So
well, I mean, at this stage in the game, for you and I, burgeoning radio hosts, hey, I go
you
ahead.
You probably pay more for your dress shirts though than I do.
Probably not.
Yeah. Oh, word. Okay.
Oh, I haven't worn a dress shirt since the Super Bowl.
Okay. Okay.
At what point in my day am I supposed to wear a tie? Like it rarely comes across. I put it like I reserve ties for when I have to put on a show at work, and this one's on the radio.
Yeah.
But so that was everybody loved the Georgia draft. I think Jalen Carter is the best player in this draft.
Yeah.
And that's why part of the trading up for Will Anderson. I hope he's what you think he is. Texas. In that regard.
He is.
Just tell you, look, there's nobody worse than a guy who could be, right? Like when we look at, for example, the Nuggets and the Suns are about to play.
Yeah.
We're sitting here talking. We talked to Mark Medina about half an hour ago. Mm-hmm. Hey, man, the Suns, they got KD, they got Book.
Yeah.
The Nuggets are the deeper team. Well, I'm old enough to remember when DeAndre Ayton was the first overall pick under 5 years ago.
And he's playing really well right now.
But he's somebody who should be or could be, right?
Okay.
He's not a bust. Yeah. He's not a bust. But when you look at what's the real answer for the Suns? Because everybody's like, oh, CP3 has to hit shots. Well, we've seen CP3's last 15 years of his career.
Yeah.
If you're counting on him in the postseason, good luck.
Good luck. Yeah, there's my line. Good luck. Yeah, you're right. Good luck.
Now, DeAndre Ayton, former number 1 overall pick in a draft that consisted of Luka Doncic, who's been to a Western Conference Final on a team that's his. Trae Young, who's been to an Eastern Conference Final on a team that's his. Mm-hmm. DeAndre Ayton. Now, he's been to the finals, obviously.
Yeah, been to the finals, but it wasn't his team.
He is not driving this car. No. And secretly, since Giannis blocked his shot in one of the most, we look at it as one of the more incredible blocks ever, right? But it was a 7-footer getting his shot blocked at the rim by a guy running from the free throw line. I just say, you can find DeAndre Ayton somewhere in the mid-teens of the first round, not necessarily number 1 pick. If you sign DeAndre Ayton as a second-round pick, you feel amazing about it. If he's your first overall pick, you're like, damn, what more could we have gotten? That's kind of what I'm feeling.
All right, I feel you. But let's go back to my man. I feel you. So we're going to stay with Will Anderson right here because this is a player that I love. I love this kid. People have to remember, as a true freshman at Alabama, people looked like, okay, wow, what the hell is that? What is that guy right there? Yeah, that's Will Anderson Jr. He's a true freshman, which means he's 18 years old. When you're 18 years old as a true freshman and you step into a Nick Saban defense. Now, I know you had your reserves about Nick Saban's defense this past year, and we talked about it almost every Saturday because we had all the great college football games up in here because it's in our time slot that we have here.
The thing was, Alabama was getting by on a lot of Bryce Young.
Okay,
that was my take.
BY. I mean, you know me. I'm a BY guy, so I'm happy either way. We're talking Will Anderson and we're talking BY,
I'm just saying, but the point I had was when you look at a Saban-style team and Saban, the granddaddy of college football, it's like, there's one player putting a lot of this load on his back for this team to be successful week after week.
I get that, but that's happened 1 year out of the last 8, 9, or 10. It's going to happen with turnover, with other programs getting better, i.e. Georgia being back-to-back national champions. But I want to focus on Will Anderson here. This guy's a franchise changer. And Joel Klatt, who calls a lot of college football games, I thought did a great job for us here at Fox at the NFL draft, said it. When you talk to the Alabama coaches, they're not quick to praise a lot of guys with this eye-opening, he's an alpha. He's the guy. He runs the practices. He runs the offseason. He runs the weight. You can't coach that stuff. You just can't. You either have it or you don't, and he does. Now, the one thing that I will knock, the only thing that I saw through all my research with Will that I didn't like is the 27% missed tackle rate, and that's because he does play with his hair on fire so much, you're going to get that. But I caution people to watch that because we hear this thing about Jalen Ramsey when he was coming out of Florida. He gambles too much. Terrell Buckley, he gambles too much. Asante Samuel, he gambles too much. And all those guys are known for is just making big plays. You don't even remember the plays that they gave up. You just remember the game-breaking, game-making plays that he made. Will Anderson is a PP&C guy. That's my thing. He's a PP&C guy. He's a plug and play, and he'll be a captain by his second year. And the players vote on that. His teammates will look at him and go, yeah, He's the new guy here. J.J. Watt was that guy when he got here. We got another guy right here. He will have a Micah Parsons effect on this defense that Micah had for Dallas because there's nothing he can do. Last point, Nick Saban and Bill Belichick even said, when you talk about a player, he's either an and guy or but guy. This is real, and I loved hearing this. He's this and this, but's never good. He's this and this, and he's this and this, and he's this. It's never a but with Will Anderson Jr. It is always, and he does this, and he does that, and he does this. There's going to be plays people can show me, look, he got blocked here, or look, he had, okay, guys, that's what everybody in sports, that's the way sports goes. Tiger Woods didn't win every tournament. They didn't make every putt. Serena Williams didn't win every Grand Slam, but she won a whole bunch of them. I love this guy. I love this pick. And in my mock draft, I had Houston taking him 2, and I thought they can get Stroud at 12. And that's what I put down. I looked into both of them going to Texans because they moved up to 3 and got it. I love this kid. I love the pick. I'm standing by this so strong. Him and Bryce Young, there was just nothing I can find wrong about these two guys. And he's gonna be a great NFL player. Guys, he might be a Pro Bowler his rookie year.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Okay, well, we're gonna find out.
I don't think he's not bendy enough. I don't know how. I don't know if he's got the strength to be able to push NFL tackles on day in, day out. I think that you were talking about Darnell Wright being a reach out of Tennessee. I thought he was one of the better offensive linemen on the board, him and Broderick Jones. And to me, he's kind of stonewalled Will Anderson Jr. I saw the defense. He didn't really jump off the screen for me. And the thing is, obviously the draft is an inexact science, and you're slotting traits, and you're slotting that's how Anthony Richardson ends up being the 4th pick in the draft. It's not because of the college output, right?
Yeah.
You're not.
Well, quarterback's different because potential.
All positions you're basing it off of potential, and you're taking your output and what you're into account. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that Will Anderson's going to be bad. My thing is, when you've got Jalen Carter on the board. Mm-hmm. You can't trade up to me. You can't trade 4 picks to move up to the 3rd and not take somebody. I'll put it like this.
You would have taken Jalen Carter over Will Anderson?
Yes.
Okay.
Because in part, but I understand why no one, people didn't want to in terms of character issues. I'm just pretty terrible things that he's been involved with.
I'm just players.
Oh, just players. There's no doubt. Just players. There's no doubt.
No off the field stuff. Just players.
Okay. There's no doubt. Okay. The same way that if Bryce Young was 6'2", there's no doubt about that either.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, but if I'm making that type of choice, I'm getting somebody who I feel like is going to be a franchise. Do think he will be an effective player, right? I'm not trying to draw a line here. He's not going to be like Isaiah Simmons, who did not see the field in his rookie year. However, he sort of reminds me of the defensive. The Houston has been here before with a defensive end, and it's just
and Javanian Clowney. We spoke about that. I just think he's far. I think he's heads above that guy. And you talk about you don't see the bend. The bend was one of the positives that basically every scout and everybody that does this.
Not every scout.
I get that. His burst, his speed, his agility, 6'4", 255. Guys, that's Brian Urlacher size. It's just the size. I think he'll handle tackles, man. I think, like I said, I just think he's going to be a great, great NFL player. He could make the Pro Bowl, and he could be AFC Defensive Rookie of the Year. I expect that type of year, and I'll stand on it. You guys know me. I don't flutter around. I don't box around. Once I state something this harsh, I stand on it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, you guys know you will hear about it. So, yeah, I love this. I love this kid. But I'm with you on Jalen Carter. I just think that a guy like DeMeco Ryans, he wasn't going to, even Seattle, when Seattle didn't take him, that really raised my eyebrows because I thought if there's a coach out there who's dealt with, some guys and who lets guys be themselves, it was Pete Carroll. And I thought they really could have used and plugged him in. Them taking a quarter really confused me because he's great at finding corners late. He's like magical at that. Why would you take a guy so early when you could have had
I think Witherspoon's going to be special.
Do you really?
I do.
Well, let's also remember too something that I looked at when I looked at Witherspoon. He didn't have to play Ohio State this year. So we didn't see him against the best receiving core offense. When you look at Jerry Porter Jr., there were people that thought he fell because people kept watching the Ohio State tape where Marvin Harrison Jr. gave that kid his lunch for 4 straight quarters. He couldn't do nothing with that guy. And a guy like Witherspoon was able to escape playing and covering him, and he doesn't have that bad tape because he really didn't face the top receivers in the Big Ten. I
got news for you, America. Marvin Harrison Jr. would have been a top 5 pick in this year's draft.
Yes.
So if you're judging, guys, like I get it. That's going to be the competition in the league. Some
plays against that
I'm
guy.
not saying you don't. That's going to be the competition in the league. However, I mean, he's probably Marvin Harrison Jr. would walk in right now and be a top 25 wide receiver in the NFL.
He'd be a top 5. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't go 1 or 2. I mean, 2 or 3 right after Caleb Williams if they were being drafted right now. I'm with you on that.